How's it going? Mike here from MW Sharps. Got a package today. Been expecting this one and anticipating this one, and I can tell you in the last month, at least, this box has been the one that I've been, out of the last month of knives I've been buying, I'm most excited about this one. That's what I'm trying to say. Interesting story with this. This was posted in the group. I don't think it was the Millie group. I think it was just a basic Spyderco knives group on Facebook. I've commented that I wanted 3 knives, so there are 3 knives in here. And it worked out that he was fairly local, so I was able to have a buddy meet him that night and get the knives. He was a new seller, never sold in the group. It was the Millie group, now that I think about it, because he said he was new to the group that day. He created his account to sell these knives. So I was a little skeptical, especially the value that I was paying for these knives. So it worked out great that he was local to a friend of mine here in California, and he was able to meet him and do an in-person transfer, and then my buddy shipped them to me. So it took a little longer, a day or 2 longer before my buddy could ship them, so I've just been patiently waiting. But let's get into it, and I think you guys will enjoy these as much as I'm going to. So to open it today, I'm cheating on Spyderco. This is a Kershaw blur. It's a special one. It's a ZDP 189 blur with the brown anodized scale, so it's kind of a rare one. I bought it used, so it is a user for me, even though these are very collectible, and I think they've gone up in value quite a bit. I think these are pretty expensive, but sweet little knife. It's got the composite blade, the design there, not just straight across. When I do the close-ups, I'll flash this one and show it to you. But cool little knife from Kershaw. Before I got into Spydercos, when I was first getting into knives, my very first knife was a Kershaw Blackout. Bought it from Walmart. That was the first kind of real knife that I've ever had. So I collected Kershaw's, kind of the limited edition USA made Kershaws. That's kind of the first thing I was into. So I've got a bunch of leaks, some very rare leaks. I think I'm down to 5. I sold a lot of them. I've got the Thai ZDP, got the coarse G10, this polished G10, Kershaw leaks and S90V and ZDP 189. I've got a couple Thai raids. So some cool ones. I'll do some videos on those. I'm mainly into Spydercos now, but I hung on to my Kershaws, the rare ones, so they're still in the collection. I'll do a video on those at some point, but for today we're gonna get into the box here and show you guys what I got. I think you'll enjoy it. So my buddy who bought these he is not a knife person. He was shocked when I called him kind of out of the blue and said, hey, could you meet someone and give him $650 for me? He thought it was a gun at first, and I was like, no, not into that. But he's into big gun guy. But for 3 knives, and he was shocked. But that being said, let's see what we got. So we are going to we'll start with the older one. I have this knife. But it's kind of an older, discontinued, rare one, so I grabbed it in the package deal. These are the older boxes compared to a newer box. If you're not into the older Spydercos, you may have never seen this box, but this is the original box. And inside we have a Spyderco Yojimbo 1. So this is in blue G10. Sorry about that. This is in blue G10. It's a Yojimbo 1. So if you haven't seen one of these, this is the original Yojimbo from Michael Janich. And what's neat about this one is it's real purpose driven. He built this knife or designed this knife for defensive reasons. But cool little knife, very collectible Spyderco, old school Spyderco. Doesn't quite drop shut, but Spidey flicks. It's got, I'm not sure what these dimples are for, but it's got one here and one through the hole there. But this one has been carried and used. It's got some very light scratches on it. If I'm being honest, it's not as bad as I thought. judging by the pictures, so the seller definitely highlighted the damage, but in person it doesn't look near as bad. Centering is a little off. It's got a lot of blade play, so I bet I can fix that centering by tightening the pivot down. So that's the first one, and we'll do close-ups on all these, but this is the Yojimbo 1 in blue, G10 and S90V. So knife number 2, I'm not sure which one this is, but we'll find out together. This one, I'm excited about this one. This is probably the one I'm most excited about. This is a Crucarta, a Spyderco Shaman in micarta in crew wear. All 3 of these knives have been used. That being said, this one is in decent shape. Got some smudges on the blade. I'm gonna see if they come off. So yeah, they pretty much came off. Looks like it has been sharpened. There's some faint lines on the edge where it looks like it's been sharpened. Some pocket clip wear, but overall, really good shape. Drops closed, very smooth. Oh yeah, it's hitting my finger on that in the compression lock. One of the complaints that some people have about this knife is they've got that nub there, and the problem is when you drop closed, that nub is hitting my finger. You can see it there. So when you drop it closed, it doesn't fully close because it hits my finger first. It's got micarta scales. These ones either have been oiled or just carried because they're no longer kind of rough and real light in color. They're darker. Very smooth knife. Fantastic shape for a user. And what I was saying, I think I got distracted, but what I was saying is the fact that this is a user kind of excites me because I'm a collector at heart. If I was to buy this knife brand new, that's the way it would stay. I wouldn't carry it. Most people look at me crazy. You're gonna drop $300 and never carry it. Well, yeah, I've got a lot of knives that I do that on. For whatever reason, I've got my users and my collectible knives. This one would have definitely have fallen into the collectible spot in my knife arsenal, if you will. I would not have carried it, but the fact that this is used, it's got a little bit of patina, handles are used. I can carry it, and I'm going to use it, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm actually kind of excited about that. If I can find a collectible knife used and the price reflects it, I paid $250 for this, so a little more than they were brand new. That being said, is about $100 to $150 less than their current market value on eBay, at least. They don't come up for sale in the groups very often, so I don't have a number of what they go for in the groups. But on eBay, these are going for about $350 to $400, depending on condition. I think a brand new one would be closer to $400. A used one would be somewhere between $350. No doubt in my mind, this knife on the secondary market at least would sell for more than $250. So I'm doing well on that. I can use it, enjoy it, and it's not going to go down in value in my opinion, as long as I don't chip out the edge or break it or something crazy. But for what I do and use these knives, this one will kind of hover right around that $250. I'm not going to lose money even if I carry it. That's one of the cool things I like about Spydercos, and especially sprint rounds. They hold their value very well. Got one more knife. As you can see, this one was bought new for $279.44. And it is another Shaman, one I'm actually really excited about. Equally excited on the Crucarta. That being said, this one is the original Sprint. This one is carbon fiber and CPM S90V. I got some smudges on the blade. We'll see if those wipe off, because this is a stainless steel, so that shouldn't be patina. Although some steels you can still get some smudges on even if they're stainless. This one had some scratches, but they're very faint. Again, he was being extra careful in the pictures and taking them to expose all the damage. So oftentimes, if you just look at the knife, like no scratches, sweet. But if you kind of tilt it in the sun, you can have some pop up, and especially when you're taking pictures, you can highlight those, which I think is good to do. That's what was done here because they're not as bad as they were in person. So this one, just like the Crucarta as far as being a Shaman, but this one's carbon fiber scales, CPM S90V blade steel. That's a stainless version, as I was saying. So this one has been carried, has had some pocket time. So again, if I was to buy this brand new, I probably wouldn't carry it. I'd be more apt to carry this one on the kind of special occasions, or if I'm feeling like carrying a Shaman, because it is stainless steel. It's not gonna, I don't have to worry about it patinaing. Whereas the Crucarta, if it was brand new, I'd be more hesitant to carry it. That being said, Cruwear knife on that Spyderco is pretty stain resistant. It's not like M4 Rex 45. It's, from what I hear, it's fairly close to D2 as far as its stainlessness, which is pretty stainless for being a carbon tool steel. So let me spin the camera around. I'll give you some close-ups on these 3 knives, and we'll get you out of here. Thanks. Alrighty, guys, I brought you inside and got you an up-close view of these knives. We'll go over them real quick, give you an idea of kind of the features and these specific models. So again, here's the Shaman in kind of a natural micarta. This comes a lot lighter from the factory, but these have either been oiled or just the kind of carried a lot in the oils from your hands. If you look on the inside, you'll see the liners are skeletonized a little bit, not huge cutouts. But what I wanted to show you is you can see that lighter material on the inside where kind of that more natural look where they're not darkened. That's how they come from the factory, and you can even see it a little bit under the clip. So these edges, how they're darker, that's either from being oiled or from just being carried. They will darken with time. It's almost as if the handle material will patina like the carbon steel will. So natural micarta, scales, and a CPM Cruwear blade. This one's in pretty good shape for being a user. There's a smudge. I'll see if I can get it out. Yeah, so the smudge went away. You can see there's some hair line scratches going along the blade, but when you're just looking at it in person, you don't see that. What you can see in the video here is they did attempt to sharpen it, it looks like, and it just left some uneven scratches along that blade, the bevel there. Not too concerned about that. I am going to sharpen them, so that should be taken out, and we'll get a nice edge on there. So this is the Shaman in Cruwear and micarta. Got the nickname the Crucarta. I'm very happy to have this in my collection and a knife that I will be using. Next, we'll do the next Shaman. This one is that carbon fiber. It's contoured like all the rest of the Shamans. It's not flat like a paramilitary 2 would be. This one's in excellent shape. I'll show you the blade. It does have some of those hairline scratches, but the handle material is in perfect shape. No dings, scratches, dents, nothing like that, so I'm happy about that. Let's check out the blade. There's a couple hairline scratches. There we go, you can see them there. Nothing I'm worried about. Like I was saying earlier, it just means that I can use it now, which is kind of exciting to me. Because like I said, if I was to buy this new one box, I'd carry it around and play with it, but I wouldn't put it to any use. I'd want to try to keep it like new in box. This one's in excellent shape. Not like new in box because it's got a few of those hairline scratches, but overall very good condition for a quote user. And I intend to use it lightly. I will probably be using this one a lot more than this one. but I intend to keep it in pretty good shape. So be in the collection forever. So if you're not familiar with the Shaman, as far as size goes, it is a slightly larger knife. Here it is compared to a paramilitary 2. This is the St. Nick's 4V paramilitary 2. So about the same size as far as overall length. Thickness is going to be thicker on the Shaman, but it's in a good way almost. So it's got these contoured handles where the paramilitary 2 is just kind of flat and with 90s. This one feels better in your hand. It fits your hand better, in my opinion, and more comfortable to carry. It's rounder, but great knife. So that's it compared to a paramilitary 2. If you were not familiar with the size of the Shaman, that's a common knife, the paramilitary 2. So hopefully you got one of these in your collection. If you don't, change that, because this is a fantastic knife. Last but not least, we got the original Yojimbo. I don't know if it goes by Yojimbo 1, or I think at that point it was just a Yojimbo, because the 2 hadn't come out yet. So this one, I would say, is the most used out of the 3. You can see it had some pocket time. It's got some smooth parts on the G10, but that's okay. It's a pretty old knife. I think it's 2004, 2005, so it's been around a while. For being carried and being that old, I think it's in pretty good shape. You can see Michael Janich designs printed on the blade there. It does have some scratches, as I was showing you in the other video, but you can see them in the light here. Those ones specifically. Looks like some probably sharpening scratches. You can see those same style of scratches on the bevel that the Crucarta had. So whatever the previous guy was using to sharpen it, he was leaving some marks on it. For size reference, the original Yojimbo, here's a Yojimbo 2. This is what most people are probably familiar with. They're readily available. These are overall size, about the same length. It's going to have a smaller blade than the 2. The handle's a different shape. Similar, but this one's a lot thinner, or more narrow, I guess. Thickness is going to be the same. So that's the Yojimbo 1 with a Yojimbo 2 underneath, to give you an idea of size on that. So that's it, guys. I appreciate you hanging out, talking knives with me, and let me show you this epic mail call that I had. Take it easy.